maybe if I could touch on it and Faisal can add. I mean, generally, when someone goes through trauma or through hardships, remember that's a grief, that's a burden on their shoulders. Now, everyone looks for a way out. Now, that way out is pleasure. Let's be honest. It's always that way where I can take that boulder off my shoulders. So some people resort to, you know what, I'm gonna go to the pub. You know what, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go to, you know what, I'm gonna go cinemas. But the reality is that, and this is a truthful reality, is that because this problem hasn't been mentioned a lot and it is widespread. And the reality is, from an Islamic narrative, we have to address these things because they're going to affect our children and they'll affect, other generations to come. The Prophet Muhammad says, whoever sees from amongst you an evil, then let him try and change it with his hands. And if he can't, then with his tongue. Then if he can't, then the least he should do is hate it in his heart. And that is the weakest of Iman. So for a society to flourish, we have to address these issues. Now, because it's such a thing where it's done privately, it's done secretly, no one really wants to bring it up. So as you're saying, bro, when someone falls in right into that, or they're thinking of the trauma, or they're going through those, flashbacks of what they've been through, that moment of pleasure, or looking at certain images, or as you were saying, some people resort into masturbation, that is their way out for them. For some people, as I said, I've given alternatives to what some people do, and for them, obviously there's that sense of regret after, but they're not thinking about that. As you said, the chemicals running in the brain, for them at the moment, it's just their lust, their desire. They're trying to get away from a nightmare that they experienced when they were young, or they're trying to get away from the trauma that they experienced through a relative. So what they're trying to do now is, they can't hold that. They can't carry that alone, Faisal. It's mountains. In a way where, not physically, but mentally, psychologically, it's boulders. And what do? They know that I can't reach out to so-and-so. I can't really mention this problem to so-and-so. It's shameful. We're saying that, yes, alhamdulillah, but we help each other. How many times, Faisal, maybe when moving your house, you might call your close brothers, or maybe your brother needs a hand, or maybe when I need a hand, I might reach out to Faisal. We're saying that we're in it together and we need to tackle this. And the way that some people, as I was saying, going back to that point, that's their way out for them. So for some people, their hardship, their ease for that hardship is their addiction. Let's be honest, bro. Or their getaway, or their escape route, or that, as you mentioned, that escape, where they feel that pleasure. And unfortunately, is a reality that is spreading like wildfire. Multi-trillion-dollar organization, infested within our homes. Mothers, parents don't know the reality of what their children's going through. I remember, children's, because I reach out to the youth. Mothers, they're thinking that their children are going to school, and they are going to school, but maybe there's an odd friend there. And this friend, maybe the levels weren't set with him in his tarbiyah, in his upbringing. So he might just bring out a phone, show something, not just to a brother or to a boy or to a male, but to a female as well. And those marks, they leave detrimental marks in the future. They change someone's life pattern. They make someone jobless. They make someone depressed. They make someone fall into anxiety. They even make people commit suicide. So let's not try and put the thing behind our back. Let's say, look, the Ummah, Muslims are struggling. I read an article, it was in the Times or something, where, some of the top countries that are exposed to this and follow, these pornographic websites are Muslim countries. In the top 5, you're speaking at least, 2 of them. Obviously America is that sense of, general liberty, freedom is exposed there, here in the UK as well. But we're speaking about other Muslim countries that, where marriage is hard. For you to get married, you need to have a house. You need to have this much money. You can't marry my daughter unless you got this. Or who's this guy? He doesn't have a degree. He's not raising this. And what happens? Our community resort to what? You know what? Allah created this within me. I have a natural, instinct. I have a natural instinct. I have a natural way that I'm going to deal with this. They fall into the trap, bro. No. And that's why we have to help them.